Hey, welcome to our explainer. Today, we're diving into something really fascinating, the link between life-saving organ donation and the wild world of blockchain technology. Seriously, it's a combination that could change pretty much everything.
So let's just jump right into the deep end with a huge question. Can a simple line of code, something digital and abstract, actually build trust in a system as critical and, as deeply human as organ donation? That's the big idea we're going to unpack today, and trust me, the answer is way more interesting than you might think.
All right, so here's the game plan. We'll start with what I'm calling the crisis of trust. Then we'll look at the big blockchain promise. After that, we'll check out a platform in practice, discover its actual real-world application, and finally, think about the future of donation. Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, the crisis of trust. And right off the bat, you should know we're not starting with a tech problem here. No, this is a deeply human one, and it affects millions of lives.
And this right here really lays out the stakes. The source material points to some huge vulnerabilities in the systems we have now. Things like the potential for fraud in deciding who gets an organ, a real lack of transparency that makes everyone anxious, and just a general erosion of trust. When we're talking life and death, these are massive, massive problems.
So, how in the world do you solve a problem that's rooted in something as messy as human trust? Well, the source material we're looking at today proposes a pretty bold technological answer: the blockchain promise.
All right, so what even is blockchain, right? Let's break it down. At its heart, it's just a shared digital ledger. The two words you really got to remember are permanent and unchangeable. The best way to think about it is like a public notebook that we all share. Once something's written in it, it can never be erased or secretly changed. Ever.
And this is exactly why people see it as a perfect match for this problem. That immutability, that unchangeable nature, could tackle fraud head-on. The enhanced security keeps sensitive data safe, and full traceability means you can see every single step of the process, totally out in the open. The idea is that all of this together could fight corruption and hopefully prevent those tragic mismatches from happening.
Okay, the theory sounds amazing, right? It's powerful stuff. But what does it actually look like when someone tries to build it? Let's dig into a real, tangible example of a platform in practice. So the source presents this model, and it's called the Organ Donation Platform using blockchain. As you can guess, the whole goal here is to bring all those principles we just talked about to life, to build a system that is by its very design, secure, transparent, and decentralized. So how would it actually work? Well, it uses something called smart contracts, which are basically just agreements that run themselves based on code to handle donor matching automatically. This helps remove human bias from the equation. Then, every single step gets logged on that secure ledger, and because it's decentralized, no one person or group controls the data, which makes it totally tamper-proof. And finally, everyone who needs to be in the loop, hospitals, authorities, gets instant, real-time access. I mean, the concept is incredible. And the vision here is absolutely huge. We're not talking about some small-scale app. The intended applications are massive, running entire government healthcare systems, integrating with every hospital and registry in a country, and even providing rock-solid, verifiable data for medical research. This thing is being presented as a nationwide, system-level solution. Okay, but this is where our explainer takes a really sharp and honestly surprising turn. Let's talk about the real-world application. After hearing about that grand vision, you got to stop and ask, who is this incredibly ambitious platform actually for? And the source gives us a direct and pretty shocking answer. This platform is ideal for final year computer science students, for research projects, for hackathons. Wait, what? Suddenly, the entire context just shifts under our feet. This isn't a live system running a national organ network. It's a template, a proof of concept, a really, really cool learning tool. And if you needed any more proof, this slide just says it all with a single number. 499 rupees, that's what, about $7 US? That's the price to download the project files. This is, in fact, a product you can buy. So this is the crucial contrast we have to understand. On one side, you have this grand promise we were just talking about, fixing government healthcare, integrating hospitals, wiping out corruption. But then on the other side, you have the ground reality. This specific project is a tool for student projects, for hackathon submissions. It's a launchpad to help kickstart innovation, not the finished rocket ship. And just to hammer the point home, you can even buy add-ons. You can pay extra for someone to set up the project for you, explain the source code line by line, or even write a custom report for your college. This makes it crystal clear. Its primary role is as an educational package. So what are we supposed to make of all this? That brings us to our final section, the future of donation. And this is all about separating the specific tool we've been looking at from the massive idea it represents.
You know, let's go back to the project's own description. It absolutely is an innovative project. It does leverage the power of blockchain to build a secure and transparent system. Just because this version is a student project for sale doesn't make the core concept any less powerful. Not one bit.
And that right there is the key takeaway for all of us. This explainer isn't really about one product you can buy online. It's about using that product as a case study, a tangible blueprint that shows us how this technology could revolutionize any system that relies on trust, whether that's healthcare, finance, voting, you name it.
Which leaves us with one last big question to chew on. We've seen that the code for these transparent systems can be written. Heck, students are building these things for class. So if the tech is getting this accessible, what are the real roadblocks? What's actually stopping us from adopting these kinds of systems on a massive scale? That's something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me today.